Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and continuing with the Winter Wonderland series of four spells, we are going to be talking about Cone of Cold today.
On the point of Winter Wonderland series of spells, commenters, I would love to hear a name for winter-themed spell series that Sam and Bob talk about. Ideas?
Talking
Brainstorming?
about what,
Like
what we're
Warlock
currently
Wednesdays is
doing, or
Wednesdays. Yeah. So maybe for next year. Who knows?
yeah.
Anyway, we're doing Cone of Cold, you said?
Cone of Cold, yes.
All right. It's 5th level. Sorcerer Wizard, a bunch of circles. And by circles I mean like subclasses. So like Arctic
Right.
Land, Hexblade, Genie, Fathomless, a bunch of people get this. And a bunch of people get it because it's basically Fireball. It's a level 1 action cast, 60-foot cone that deals 8d8 cold damage on a failed save and has as much as a successful one. You can upcast it for d8 damage. And if you crunch the numbers, it does exactly one more average damage than Fireball.
There's one more line of text in there you skipped over because
I'm sorry.
It's pointless.
Yeah, a creature killed by the spell becomes frozen.
Becomes a frozen statue.
I love that near and dearly. It doesn't matter at all, but I love it.
No. I wish it mattered. I mean, yeah.
Well, this is D&D, so there's definitely going to be a party that like a wizard kills 4 orcs with a cone of cold and everyone goes sledding on the orcs. That will happen. There will be silly moments with it, and that's points. I like spells that have silly moments. Fireball has its own silly moments whenever you're burning things down accidentally or murder your way through life, but cone of cold is some small level of silliness. And it's fine.
Yeah, he said basically Fireball, but I mean, it's got one big important difference. It's not a ball that you can shoot a gazillion feet away.
It's worse.
Yeah. Do you love it because it's worse?
I do, actually. Oftentimes Cone of Cold is the only damage spell I take. Well, not the only, but close to the only. Like, it's the only damage spell I would put on upper level wizards. Just because cones are fun. They're not as fun as lines, but they're still fun. They're still like you get in a fun position and you go, I am going to die, but everyone's coming down with me, and you just release a giant torrent of ice and everything, takes 36 damage, and you're like, that was the coolest thing ever, and half the goblins are ice now. I'm a fan of that. No, like you just suggested, though, being able to pick a spot and blow it up in a 40-foot radius, when that's and you can cast it at their level and a whole bunch of other things. Like Fireball, we don't really have to stick on it that long, but Fireball is definitely better than this, like always.
How does the damage compare?
This does 88 cold, which on average is 36 cold damage. Fireball does upcast 10d6 fire damage, which averages to 35 fire damage.
All right, so
basically
the damage, it's pretty much the same. What about like area? I know the versatility in the area of effect is, Fireball is hugely favored because you can choose wherever it is. Cone of Cold has to come from. But what about the actual area in size, like a 60-foot cone versus a big
40-foot
fireball?
sphere.
Right.
I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't done the math on calculating the volume of a cone in a minute. I have a hunch they're very close. At the widest point of the Cone of Cold, right? You are getting a 60-foot diameter.
Yeah.
You're most of the way down going to be smaller than that, though, right? And with a 40-foot diameter on the Fireball, you're hitting likely more creatures that you care about hitting, right? Because if you have to position yourself in such a way, there'll be a lot of time where this cone you won't be within 20 feet of things. You'll be like, okay, that group of enemies is loosely within the back 60 feet of it or whatever, and you get a bunch of them to hit. Things that are farther away from you, this hits more of them sometimes. But I don't think the shape of this is often going to make that much of a difference, because normally Cone of Cold is just everything in the room, right? Just whatever's in front of us, all of that's getting hit with this. It doesn't play nicely with full cover, which is, bummer. But that's the life of Cone and lines, and not the life of giant spheres of damage.
Fifth level, just another damage spell doesn't get me all that excited.
Yeah, I
guess it gets you excited because if you opt to skip Fireball and use this as your damaging spell, I mean, yeah, you need a damaging spell, but I don't know, man. Yeah, by this time I've had Fireball for 2 spell levels, and yeah, that's
most people have. I think this is moderately notable. this is a Circle of the Land for the Arctic Druids. I have played specifically an Arctic Druid before, actually, and it is interesting because your subclass features are kind of ass, but you get a robust extra spell list that you get to prepare for free. This being one of them is really meaningful, especially on a character that doesn't get Fireball. And getting Fireball damage in a really good area without Fireball, that's pretty notable. Now, granted, it's, you know, it's later than you'd like it to, but it's equivalent of the upcast, so it's like, okay, little column A, little column B. I think the spell really could have benefited from having just any amount more text. Like the, you know, the little bead that you throw at
I was
explosive
thinking the
ice?
same thing. I mean, it teases you because it does have more text, but that text is stupid.
The text doesn't make no difference whatsoever. Like, imagine if it also then said after that, you know, you can destroy them when they shatter and deal damage around an area, right? Like maybe the corpses could be little ice detonating things that freeze things around them or leave lingering cold damage or something. Like there could be more to explore here.
Yeah, you know, they fail a saving throw and they're frozen for a round or something. I don't know.
It is a little wild. This has no conditions on it at all. Like the creatures that get hit with it either are dead in ice or perfectly fine and just damaged. Like there's nothing, there's no middle ground there, right? I feel like there should be, but you know.
Yeah, 5th level spells, I want more than just damage. I want I want effects.
I think if you're going for the, you know, bang for your buck, this does not quite get there. If you're going for an Arctic themed character, however, I mean, yeah, why not? Sure.
Yeah, it's a perfectly functional damage spell.
Yeah, and that's all it is. And that's not exciting. It's unfortunate. I mean, again, it's exciting to me because I love things that are harder, and this is harder than, you know, the Fireball gameplay. That's not a good reason.
Wouldn't say it's that much harder. I mean,
it's not.
yeah, like you mentioned before, when you get into combat, you're generally pretty close together anyway. You're not really using Fireball's maximum range very often, I don't think. Not unless you're incinerating a unsuspecting city.
Unless you're like, you know, dropping firebombs on people and going full on E capital E evil military game plan where you're just blowing up buildings and stuff, you know. This is not doing that. This is, we're in a real fight, like a regular bog standard. We're killing some owlbears. We're out in, you know, the caves and the caverns and the, you know, fighting the creatures, doing the Cone of Cold thing. And again, much like I said prior, this just probably hits everything in whatever room you're in. Whatever room of the dungeon that you're doing things in, this is like, okay, everyone get behind me. And it just damages the majority of creatures. Maybe one's like too far to the right and is up too close and personal for you to get it, and then you just have to like get in the corner and tilt it. And then it still hits everything in the room because like you can, it's a cone, so you can like, if you make the center of the cone there, it'll go like this, right? And then you can go like, you know, hit square with it. It area wise, you can get what you want with this the vast majority of the time. It's not that much harder than Fireball, but it's a little bit harder than Fireball. It cares about cover, and Fireball doesn't. So that's neat.
If it froze the surface of water for
that'd be cool, right?
Round, yeah. Something. Give me something. Cone of Cold.
We just talked about Ray of Frost. Let this be an area effect Ray of Frost. Give me 10-foot speed reduction.
There you go.
And then everything within that 20-foot window has to eat an extra action. And then this is like, okay, now we kind of like, we have the Fireball and the Firebolt, which is just the damage. And then you have the Ray of Frost and the Cone of Cold, which is very small upside. That'd be neat. But we don't. We have creatures killed become frozen statues. Until it thaws. So if you do this in like the Mediterranean, they'll be thawed in a couple minutes. And they'll just be corpses, regular corpses.
Start rotting, you know, at temperate zone, you might be able to stave off the smell for a day or two. But
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, it's damage spell. Anything else left to talk about?
I can't believe we juiced it this long, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess then we're done. You got a rating?
I mean, I think it's too generous to give this a 3. This is a 2. And the only reason it's a 2 is because Fireball exists. But if you're not taking Fireball, I mean, it's the Fireball damage spell. We're equivalent, so that's fine.
Well,
that's when you take it, right?
Yeah, I was going to give it a 3 because it is an effective and useful damaging spell. But I can't give any more because that's all it is, and it's nothing that gets me excited. I don't mind that Fireball exists.
If you have Fireball on your sheet, can you ever put Cold and Cold on it and be like, yeah, this is worth it?
you know, but like I said, there's going to be some characters that don't have access to Fireball.
I think on those characters it's probably a 3. I think you're right about that.
Hmm.
On those characters might be better than 3, but on Wizards and Sorcerers, no.
All right, well, viewers, if you got any other opinions, we'd love to hear them. Otherwise, that was Cone of Cold. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it, a gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description where you'll find my Caverns and Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.